Welcome to the light. We are now into part 2 of the Blaec James Lammers court documents, where we're going over the facts, not anything that is supposedly what happened. So in part 1, we went over the incident that occurred in 2009. Now, if you want, you can go back and start there. If you don't want, you can start here. Totally fine. You do you. Now, here what I'm going to do is read through the felony complaint and probable cause document from the court documents that go into the incident in 2012 that had to do with the Twilight movie theater showing and the second Wal-Mart incident that was anticipated to occur in November of 2012. Now, after that, I also have 10 minutes worth of the actual interrogation footage that is clipped from Blaec's interrogation with police officers. I also have a few other very short clips in addition to that to add in at the end to sprinkle once Blaec was in prison and did some interviews with some local news and some other anecdotes from Blaec's own mother and his parents regarding this incident. As stated previously, while I have a lot of opinions that I would love to throw in, I will keep those to myself as best as possible. We're going to stick to the facts right now. I am presenting this to you. You can listen to this, take everything in, make your own decisions, educate yourself, come to your own conclusions based on the facts that are put forth before you. So let's get straight into it. The first count in the felony complaint was a Class B felony, which was assault in the first degree. And that is that the defendant purchased weapons, practiced with the weapons, and created plans to pew persons, and such conduct was a substantial step toward the commission of the crime of attempting to unalive or cause serious physical injury to unknown persons at the Wal-Mart store in Bolivar, Missouri, and was done for the purpose of committing such assault. Now, the range of punishment for that Class B felony was imprisonment in the custody of the Missouri Department of Corrections for a term of not less than 5 years and not to exceed 15 years. Count 2 that he was charged with was a Class C felony, making a terroristic threat, and that was because the defendant knowingly communicated to Dustin Ross, who was an officer on this case, a threat to cause to pew people at the Bolivar Wal-Mart store, an incident involving a danger to life by stating the same to him, and the defendant did so for purpose of frightening 10 or more people. Now, I can say this, that second count of making that threat ultimately was dropped in this case. Now, moving on to count 3 of these charges, a felony charge of armed criminal action. And that is that the defendant committed the felony of assault in the first degree charged in count 1, all allegations of which are incorporated herein by reference, and the defendant committed the foregoing felony of assault in the first degree by, with, and through the knowing use, assistance, and aid of a deadly weapon. The range of punishment for the offense of armed criminal action is imprisonment in the custody of the Missouri Department of Corrections for a term of years not less than 3 years without eligibility for parole, probation, conditional release, or suspended imposition or execution of sentence for a period of 3 calendar years. Any punishment that is imposed shall be in addition to any punishment provided by law for the crime committed by, with, or through the use, assistance, or aid of a dangerous instrument or deadly weapon. So now we're going to get into the probable cause statement here, which is actually going to give the details of what happened and why these charges came about. The detective that gave this statement was Detective Dustin Ross with the Bolivar Police Department on November 15th, 2012. On November 15th, 2012, officers received information that Blaec Lammers had recently purchased 2 assault-type rifles and was off of his medication. I won't say his full name from this point, just refer to him as Blaec to make it easy. Blaec had previously stated that he wanted to STAB a Walmart employee to death and went to Walmart and followed an employee around the store before he was contacted by officers. This incident was in 2009, and that is what I went over in my previous video. Blake's mother contacted us on November 15th, 2012, and stated that she was concerned due to the fact that the weapons that her son had purchased were very similar to the ones used in the Aurora, Colorado movie theater shooting. His mother further stated that with the opening of the new Twilight movie, she was concerned that Blaec may have intentions of using that firearm on people at the movie. On November 15th, 2012, Officer Sly made contact with Blaec at Sonic in Bolivar, Missouri. Blaec agreed to come to the police department and speak with me about the incident. Upon arrival, I read Blaec his Miranda warnings, and he stated that he understood them and would speak with me. I asked Blaec about his recent purchases of the 2 assault rifle type firearms. Blaec stated that he was going to go hunting with them, but then found out you have to take classes and things before you can go hunting, and he didn't take any classes. I told Blaec that was odd due to the fact that he had already told me he knew he had to have the classes before he went hunting. Blaec and I then began talking about recent pew-pews that had been in the news. Blaec stated that he had a lot in common with the people that had been involved in these pew-pew incidents. Blaec stated that he was quiet, kind of a loner, had recently purchased firearms, and didn't tell anybody about it and had homicidal thoughts. Blaec further stated that he had purchased the firearms with the intentions of pew-pewing up the movie theater in Bolivar, Polk County, Missouri. On November 18th, 2012, Blaec stated that he had purchased tickets to go see the Twilight movie on November 18th, 2012, and he was going to use the firearm against people at the movie theater on that night. Again, apologies for having to change some of these words. I know it doesn't flow as easily. It's just I have to. Blaec stated that he then got to thinking about it and realized that he might run out of ammunition. So he then decided he would go and pew-pew people at Wal-Mart in Bolivar, Polk County, Missouri. Blaec stated that he would walk into the store and just start pew-pewing people at random. And if he ran out of ammunition, he said that he purchased 400 rounds. He would just break the glass where the ammunition is being stored and get some more and keep on pew-pewing until the police arrived. Blaec then stated that he would then turn himself into police when they arrived. Blaec stated that he had gotten one firearm on Monday and another firearm on Tuesday. Blaec stated that when he got the firearms on Tuesday, he went to Aldrich, Missouri to practice using them. Blaec stated that he had never used a firearm before and wanted to make sure he knew how they were used and how they functioned. And the detective signed off on that for the probable cause for this court case. Now, some more information came directly from Blaec's mother on this case. It speaks about how she found the Wal-Mart receipt dated November 13th for the firearm in the pocket of Blaec's pants. And she said that she couldn't recall what she read on the receipt to make her believe that it was for a firearm, but the purchase was for $865 and had been paid for in cash. She said that she briefly spoke with him that Wednesday afternoon, and he said, yes, I bought them, the firearms, several weeks ago, but that wasn't true. She stated, I have learned to walk on eggshells sometimes around my own son. I didn't want him to get angry with me. I was concerned for my safety as well as my son's. I was afraid my son could come back and hurt me, or I was afraid he could hurt himself, take his life. I had no idea what my son might do. Now, another just a sad anecdote from Blaec's parents, again, who I truly do feel for, is that they say that they've tried and failed to get their son appropriate mental health treatment in the past. The couple has tried repeatedly to get help for their son, who's been diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome and an antisocial personality disorder. They recalled waiting for hours as hospital staffers called institutions around the state, trying to find one that had an open bed for their son. They've spent as much as $30,000 on repeated hospitalizations and medications. There's still a balance of about $9,300 from their son's last stay at Lakeland Behavioral Health System, a psychiatric hospital for children in Springfield. They said that the mental health system had failed them and their son. And as I stated in my previous video, there have been up to 7, I believe, stays with psychiatric hospitals, and when they encountered issues with Blaec or authorities, many instances wound up in him having just these 96-hour holds at psychiatric hospitals or these mental evaluations. Now, something else that I just found while I was going through this case was that the prosecutor noted that Blaec has also previously assaulted a coworker and faced a domestic assault against his very own mother. That was dismissed. So I'm not sure where that occurred. I did not see that in the Missouri documents. So I'm not sure if that's something that occurred when he was a juvenile and that's why I can't find it, or if that's something that occurred in Nebraska when he was a juvenile and that's also why I cannot find it. It's also said that one of the employees at Wal-Mart was now afraid to go to the movies and thinks of what could have happened if Blaec had actually carried out his plans, which is why something I did state before was that just because something physical did not manifest in the end does not make it a victimless crime. Mental and emotional trauma is very, very real. Now I'm going to insert some clips as to some interviews that he spoke about this incident afterwards to local news. Now, I just wanted to poke in a little something that I found in my little internet excursions. That was interesting because it's not like Blaec is brand new to the internet upon his release in the past 5 months. He had Facebook prior to this. He had a girlfriend prior to winding up in prison. Ironically, even though he had a girlfriend before going to prison, this was his Meet Me dating profile that he actually had, that he was active on and had been using. So it's not anything that's really new to him. Like Tinder may have been something new for him when he was released, but he was using a different form of online dating and just utilizing Facebook and maybe utilizing it while he was currently with somebody at the very same time prior to his incarceration. So to think that he's completely oblivious to how the internet works and to how online dating and social media works, yes, things have absolutely drastically changed in the past 13 years, but he's not brand new to all of it. Not to mention that prison has changed as well in this time period, and they have access to the internet and tablets if that is provided to them. If there's one thing I have absolutely seen is that his parents have been the most caring and supportive parents this whole time, his entire life. And I'm sure they provided him the resources that he needed to ensure that he had a tablet, if that was an option for him, while he was incarcerated. So that being said, that's essentially going to wrap up this part of it for me. I know there's still a lot more details to go into when it comes to this case of what put him in, but that's going to take it for this video. Otherwise, it's going to be really long. So thank you so much already for hanging in there. I'm going to add the videos for you to watch now of his interrogation and the little clips afterwards. Thank you so much for tuning in as I shed light on this case so you could learn more about the actual facts and not anything that was supposedly, because it's important to understand what is the truth. Remember, you can hear everything and come to your own conclusions. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, please make sure that you're following for more updates on this case and many others that I do cover if this is something that interests you. Please hit that like button, share, please leave a comment on what you think and if you've learned anything from this video. Be safe, be kind to one another, and as always, I will see you all in the next one.
Your story, to me personally, isn't real believable. You buy 2 guns that really aren't normally used to go hunting with the intention of going hunting. You've never been hunting. You've never taken a hunter safety. You've never gone deer hunting. Nothing like that at all. The steps you're taking
are out of order.
Aren't matching up with somebody who wants to go hunting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's like me saying, I want to go. I want to drive a car. I'm not going to take my driver's test or learn how to drive or anything about driving. I'm just going to go buy a BMW and hop in and just take off. It doesn't make much sense, does it? No, because there's steps you have to do before that. And so that's where red flags start flying. What is the actual reason why you bought them? Just be honest. Honesty is going to be your best policy, man.
I'm not going to go out and kill someone, so that's not the answer. That's not it. I really don't even know. I'm an impulsive buyer, so I don't know why.
Again, guns are not an impulse buy.
I don't know why I bought them. And I don't plan on doing anything harmful besides hunting, but things that I'm going to go and my mom thinks it's in, like, a Virginia Tech's going to happen with me. Or Wal-Mart, or the guy at the movie theater in Arizona, or something.
Why do you think she thinks that?
Because every one of those people have, like, a mental illness.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell anyone that they bought a gun.
So you have an illness similar to these people. Now, what else do you have in common with these people?
Homicidal thoughts.
Do you have homicidal thoughts?
I did when I was 16.
Do you still? I mean, do you have an illness?
Yes, sir.
Did you buy guns without telling anybody? Okay, so you see where people get concerned. Now throw in, you didn't take your medication a couple days, you know, the thoughts, the loner, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
All that up.
Yeah. And so, don't look at us as bad guys, we're out to get you. We want to help you, okay? And that's kind of why we're here. I don't want to wait and be talking with you after something like the movie theater or Virginia Tech happens. I want to talk to you before that so it doesn't happen, because I don't want to see you, get to that point where you do something like that. And now we're talking to you as you're about to go to prison for the rest of your life. Okay. Other than you just wanted to have guns, why did you buy those guns? Because there's got to be a reason. When people are trying to hide something, they'll come up with a cover story like that. And guess what you did? You came up with a cover story like that. You know why? It's because you don't want us to know the actual reason why you had those guns, which is what we need to find out. Because if it was you were actually going to go hunting, hey, that's fine. But there's a reason why, and you instantly came up with a lie to try to, throw us off, or hey, maybe they'll buy that. Which of course we don't, because it doesn't make sense. So there's got to be a reason why you bought them. There's got to be a reason why you lied about what you were going to use them for. Because, again, if you bought them just because you wanted them, because you wanted to go on a practice shoot, there's nothing wrong with that. But you wouldn't lie about it.
No.
So there's got to be a different reason why you bought those guns, or else you wouldn't have lied about it. Because you don't seem like a bad kid. You don't seem like somebody who's just going to come out and flat out lie just because you're a liar. So there's got to be something else going on. So just be honest. Just tell us what's going on, Blaec. Okay? My concern, and I think his mom's concern too. What's been all over the news in the last 3-4 months?
Shootings.
Absolutely. What's been the big one?
AR-15s.
Where at?
It's been movie theaters, mall, anywhere.
Movie theater. The big one that's getting all the attention is where? The Dark Knight movie theater?
Yeah. Was that in Colorado?
Yeah.
Okay. Colorado.
Okay. So you buy guns on Tuesday and Wednesday. What comes out on Thursday?
Twilight.
Absolutely. Do I think wholeheartedly you had some thoughts about doing something like that? No, absolutely. Do I think that the betterness of you got kicked in, and you said, well, I don't want to do that, so I'm going to have my girlfriend's dad hold my guns for me? Absolutely. So just be square with me. We're just running around in circles here. Just be honest. Did that thought cross your mind?
It did once.
So tell me about your thoughts you had.
Well, I was watching there's this movie called April Showers. It's about Columbine.
Okay.
Well, my sister was in it, and I was like, oh, it's just, I want to see what it was about. So I was school shooting, and I was like, these thoughts going through my head, like, what happened if I ever did that? So I went out and bought them, and then I realized I don't want to spend the rest of my life in prison.
But here's the thing: you're not in school.
No,
so
I'm not in school.
You wouldn't shoot up. Where did you think about shooting up? Walmart.
Yes, sir. That's when I bought that, and I realized when I was shooting with Ethan, I was like, this isn't me. I don't even know why I did this.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't necessarily. I think you had a different target than Walmart, if you ask me. You know why I think that? Your pattern and style, and down to the guns you bought, mimic a situation that happened here recently, almost to a T. And what did we talk about earlier? What situation was that?
Movie theater.
Absolutely. I don't think it's a coincidence. You bought those guns on Tuesday, give you enough time to practice on Tuesday night, Wednesday, and what comes out Thursday. How many people are going to be at the movie theater?
A lot.
Absolutely.
You see the plan that Detective Ross is kind of showing you that makes perfect
and
sense.
That's the thing we talked about earlier. Your story you first gave me didn't make sense. And that's why I didn't believe you, right? The movie theater makes perfect sense.
It crossed my mind, but Walmart was probably the main one. Because if I ran out of ammo, all you had to do was just break the glass.
I mean, you do understand you can't go buy guns with the intentions of shooting up Walmart, right? And Walmart was your actual destination. That was your target. It wasn't a movie theater. It wasn't.
I wasn't even thinking. I was just like, oh, Walmart.
Just any Walmart.
Or just wherever.
Where a large amount of people are going to be at. How many bullets did you buy?
I have no clue.
One box, 2 box, 3 box?
2 box for the 223, and then a box came with the 22.
So you had, what, about 200 rounds?
About 400.
About 400? Did you buy any other kind of gear?
Mm-hmm.
Like a bag to hold the stuff in? Any kind of mask? Any kind of gloves?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing like that?
No.
Do you have anything like that at your house?
No.
You sure about that?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So how were you going to do it then? Just walk in through the doors and...
That's what I was going to do.
Let me explain to me. How are you going to do it?
I don't like talking about it because then it gets in my head. So I don't know.
The only way to get it out, man, is to talk about it.
I know.
So when you were thinking about going to shooting up Walmart, what was your plan? What was your plan from start to finish?
I'm just going to walk in and then wait till the police got there. I just walk in, start shooting, and then just wait till the police got there.
The police got there to do what?
Just hand myself over.
Just walk through the front doors and start shooting?
Mm-hmm.
How would you pick your targets? Just completely random?
Yeah.
Would you go customers or employees? Or both?
Yeah.
What gun would you use first?
I have no clue.
Just whichever one you had? How would you carry all the ammo?
I would just have one clip.
Would you take both guns? Were you going to take both guns with you? Just one? Then why buy 2? Any idea what day? Was there a better day that you had thought of than...
Mm-hmm.
Would you have hurt someone?
No, I'd rather hurt myself than anybody else. I can't see myself taking someone else's life. Separate that fiction from movies into reality in real life. I figured it was like the same, not just Hollywood making stuff up to sell movies. I figured it was the same stuff.
But you were afraid that you might. That's why you...
I got rid of the guns.
So you were afraid that you could have hurt someone?
Yes. At the time, I was afraid that, I don't know, anything could happen off these meds, and mixed with illegal drugs, it could, I don't know what could happen. I think they had their mindset that let's just get him out of this town. because he's making a bad name for us. He's a loose cannon. We don't know what he's going to do. And if I guess anything I could say to shed light on it to help me and help them, I don't think they would care. This case, they were thinking this case is going to go big. It's going to go in the media. It's going to go outside of Missouri probably. So they just wanted that. I think they wanted that attention and have people know that, hey, there's a small town in Missouri called Bolivar. They want to get their name out there, I think. If I would have planned something, there would have been paperwork on it. Like, I would have wrote something out in a diary. There was nothing. And then when the police arrest me, usually they go to, if they something being planned or they think mass shooting is going to happen, I fear they would go to the person's house, search the house, look in their room. They didn't do anything of that. They never went to where I was staying, go in my bedroom and look for stuff. They just didn't do anything.
What would they have found if they did?
Nothing.
When you heard the sentence, what did you think?
I was shocked. I don't know how you can get an assault case or ACA without even touching anybody or harming anybody, just saying stuff. I just wish that doctors out there, my mom, they could have seen that I needed more help than psych wards. Psych wards, they're there to put you on different medication and let you go within 96 hours. But if I was in a structured environment, like a group home or a place that could to help you think without medication to cope with life, I figured it would be a lot better. It's all up to them. There's people out there that hope I never get out because of what I said. But if I could do something to shed some light in their eyes that wasn't me, that was a medication talking, that was a detective putting words in my mouth and my mind for me to say them. If I could explain to them that was all that, I would hope that it would change their mind and opinion.
And what happens in the dark will always come to the light.